Hello, and welcome back. Today I want to guide you through a practice that I call learning from ourselves. It's a bit of a play on words, given that what we'll be focusing on are the tiny little individual cells that make up you and me, and frankly make up all different forms of life, and specifically what it is that each individual cell contains that we can learn from. So, what I'm talking about is what we can learn from ourselves. Life on Earth has been around for an awfully long time. Some estimate as much as 4 billion years. The earliest forms of life were single cells. But even now, all these years later, that individual cell has 4 basic functions that have been retained all the way through to the cells that make up you and me. In my work as a therapist, what I find over and over again is that these 4 basic cellular functions of life are also essential functions for each of us being healthy in our own physical being, as well as being healthy in our relationships and interactions with other people and with the environment in which we live. Let's take a look at what those 4 basic functions of life are. Every single cell is surrounded by a membrane, a kind of permeable bubble that lets certain things in and other things out. Think about it. There are actually 4 different variations. Every cell is able to let in, to take in what it absolutely needs to survive from its external environment. But it also needs to be able to let go of things that it contains that maybe were useful at some point, but aren't useful any longer. In fact, if we don't let those things out that are inside of us that we don't need anymore, that can become a toxic situation that's really unhealthy for us. Think, for example, of certain hopes or dreams that are dashed over and over again as the person that we're in a relationship with makes promises that just don't bear up, and yet we hold on to the hope that maybe tomorrow or next week or next month that person will finally come around. Well, in that kind of situation, which I see so often, it's important that we let go of that hope, face the facts, face the reality that we need to be able to move on. Holding on to an empty hope becomes toxic for us. So in that sense, that rule of life, letting go of what may have been useful or promising at one point, but isn't any longer, is an example of something that every cell knows how to do, and strangely, we need to learn to do that too. The third of the 4 basic rules is that sometimes we live in environments where there are things around us that if we let them in, they'd be toxic. So we have to set healthy boundaries. We have to learn to keep out things that would be harmful to us if we let them in. You can think of examples of how that situation shows up in your day-to-day life when things outside look good, but your intuition keenly tells you this is probably too good to be true. I shouldn't take the bait. I need to set a healthy boundary and say, thanks, but no thanks. It's not right for me. It's not what I want. And finally, something that I see an awful lot in my work that each and every cell knows how to do, and that is to hold on to what's precious, to hold on to what is absolutely necessary for your survival and your long-term health and well-being. So we don't let go, we don't too easily give away things that we absolutely need just because somebody else wants a piece of it, somebody else wants to tap into it. So in quick review, every single cell inside of you and inside of me knows how to take in from the outside world, take in from others what we need that we don't have for ourselves, how to let go of things that maybe were useful in the past but aren't any longer, to release them and move on, how to keep out things that are toxic by setting healthy and firm boundaries, and also how to hold on to keep locked inside of us what is precious and unique to us by not giving it away too quickly or too easily. Over the next few minutes, I invite you to reflect on these 4 basic rules. You can take them in turn, one at a time, or maybe just focus on all 4 and notice which is the 1 or 2 that really come forward and speak to you as really important steps to a better sense of self, a better position of health and well-being. But however you do that, I'll offer them now, and then I'll sit quietly for a few minutes, giving you the time you need to reflect. What do I need to seek from others? What do I need to admit I need help with? Something that's outside of me that I need to seek because it can help support me, enliven me, or enrich my life. What have I been carrying for too long? Maybe days, it may be weeks. Frankly, it may be decades. Resentments, forms of bitterness, grudges that poison me, but I'm the one carrying them around. What do I need to let go because it's time to move on? Where do I need to set firmer, healthier, stricter boundaries? Where do I need to learn to say no? And finally, where have I been too free in giving away parts of myself that leaves me depleted, de-energized, maybe feeling empty inside? Where do I need to hold on to things because they're essential parts of me, of my essential, authentic self, rather than giving them away where that's not helpful? Over the next few minutes, just allow yourself to reflect on this issue, helping you begin to picture where it may be important for you to take some steps in restructuring your life along the lines of what your basic cells already know how to do thousands of times per second across all 30 trillion cells that make up you and me. Gently, gradually, in your own time and in your own way, allow yourself to begin to reorient, re-alert, reconnect to where you're sitting, where you are right now. As you prepare to go on with your day, opening your eyes, stretching, adjusting your posture. And as a way of following up on this, you might consider writing down your thoughts and feelings. Maybe you're already someone who journals. Or maybe now is a time to have a much-needed talk with a friend, someone you trust and can open up to talk about your thoughts and ideas about directions you may want to take. Some people I work with will use their dreams as an ally, as a resource. As you get ready for bed, take a little bit of time and think about some of what came to mind as you did this practice, and invite yourself to think about them further in your dreams. You'd be amazed at how effective it can be to use what happens in sleep, especially in dream sleep, to help us come up with solutions that up until now may not have been visible to us. However you choose to follow up on this practice, don't just do it once. Come back to it again and again, a self-reflection practice. Because the changes we're talking about as you look to apply the 4 basic skills or functions of life are important, maybe even transformative. And I encourage you to treat them with the seriousness that they deserve. Circle back to this practice as often as you'd like. I encourage you to continue to take steps forward day by day on the road to becoming your best self. Goodbye for now.